Chosen one, there are moments in life when you look around and wonder why the same patterns keep returning. You pray for change, yet the battle appears again. You ask God for a new chapter, yet somehow you find yourself facing another version of an old challenge. The names may change, the locations may change, the circumstances may change, but the lesson seems strangely familiar. You begin to ask yourself, why does this keep happening? You wonder if you are stuck. You wonder if you are failing. You wonder if God is withholding something from you. But what if the truth is far greater than anything you have imagined? What if the cycles are not signs of failure? What if they are signs of preparation? What if God is allowing J to appear in your life repeatedly because he is using every encounter, every challenge, and every emotional battle as part of a divine training program? The truth is that God never wastes pain. Every battle has a purpose. Every delay has a lesson. Eve. Our Y cycle carries a hidden assignment, and before God releases a chosen one into their greatest season, he often allows them to walk through a process that feels repetitive, but is actually transformational. The cycle is not the destination. The cycle is the forge. And you are the armor being crafted. Think about how armor is made. A blacksmith does not create strong armor in a single moment. The metal must endure heat. It must endure pressure. It must endure repeated shaping. Again and again the metal enters the fire. Again and again the hammer falls. Why? Because the blacksmith knows that weak armor will fail when the battle becomes intense. Likewise, God knows that weak faith cannot survive the destiny he has prepared for you. That is why some of the hardest seasons of your life have repeated themselves. Not because God enjoys watching you struggle, not because he has forgotten your prayers, but because he is strengthening areas of your spirit that would otherwise remain weak. Chosen one, many people pray for greatness. Few are willing to endure the preparation required for greatness. Many want the crown. Few want the process. Many want the victory. Few want the training. But God understands something that most people do not. The greater the assignment, the greater the preparation. The greater the calling, the greater the refining. And if your destiny carries extraordinary significance, your preparation will often feel extraordinary as well. This is why certain people enter your life repeatedly. This is why specific lessons continue to return. This is why J becomes a recurring symbol within your journey. Every encounter exposes something. Every challenge reveals something. Every cycle teaches something. Perhaps J exposed your fear of rejection. Perhaps J revealed your tendency to seek validation from others. Perhaps J uncovered hidden wounds you thought had healed. Perhaps J showed you where pride still existed. Perhaps J revealed weaknesses in your faith. Whatever the lesson may be, the purpose remains the same. God is not merely showing you your weaknesses, he is strengthening them. The enemy wants you to believe that repetition means defeat. God wants you to understand that repetition often means refinement. Consider an athlete preparing for competition. They do not perform a movement once and stop. They repeat it thousands of times. Why? Because repetition builds strength. Repetition builds endurance. Repetition builds mastery. The same principle applies spiritually. When God allows a lesson to repeat, he is giving you another opportunity to grow stronger. He is giving you another opportunity to respond differently. He is giving you another opportunity to demonstrate what you have learned. And every time you pass through the cycle with greater wisdom than before, your spiritual armor becomes stronger. That armor is essential because your destiny will attract opposition. Every chosen one encounters resistance. Every chosen one faces battles. Every chosen one experiences attacks designed to discourage them from fulfilling their purpose. The enemy does not waste resources attacking people who pose no threat. The intensity of your battles often reveals the significance of your calling. That is why preparation matters. God is not preparing you for where you are. He is preparing you for where you are going. The version of you that exists today cannot fully carry the weight of tomorrow's assignment. Something must change. Something must grow. Something must be strengthened. And that strengthening often occurs within the cycles you wish would end. Many people ask God to remove the fire. Few ask him what the fire is teaching them. Many pray for immediate escape. Few pray for transformation. Yet transformation is often God's highest priority, because a blessing received without preparation can become a burden. A promotion received without maturity can become a disaster. A breakthrough received without wisdom can become a downfall. God cares too much about your future to rush your preparation. He sees dangers you cannot see. He sees battles you have not yet encountered. He He sees opportunities you have not yet imagined, and he knows exactly what kind of armor you will need. That is why the process continues until the work is complete. The Bible repeatedly shows us that God develops his servants before he deploys them. There is always preparation before elevation. There is always testing before promotion. There is always refinement before assignment. The waiting season is never wasted. The painful season is never meaningless. The confusing season is never accidental. Every season contains pieces of the person God is creating. Chosen one of the most difficult truths to accept is that growth often feels uncomfortable. When God stretches your faith, it feels uncomfortable. When God exposes hidden wounds, it feels, yes, uncomfortable. When God removes unhealthy attachments, it feels uncomfortable. When God forces you to depend on him instead of people, it feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes discomfort is evidence that transformation is occurring. A seed must break before it grows. A caterpillar must surrender its old form before becoming a butterfly. Metal must endure fire before becoming armor, and you must endure refinement before becoming who God created you to be. That is why the cycles continue until the lesson becomes part of your character. God is not interested in temporary change. He is interested in lasting transformation. He does not merely want you to know the lesson. He wants you to become the lesson. He wants patience to become part of your character. He wants wisdom to become part of your thinking. He wants faith to become part of your identity. He wants strength to become part of your spirit. When that happens, the cycle has accomplished its purpose. And suddenly what once felt impossible becomes natural. The battle that once overwhelmed you no longer controls you. The fear that once dominated you no longer intimidates you. The wound that once defined you no longer limits you, because you have changed. The cycle did not merely test you. The cycle transformed you. And transformation is the true goal. Many chosen ones become discouraged because they focus only on the duration of the process. They ask, how much longer? But a better question is, what is God building within me? The answer to that question changes everything, because once you understand that the cycle is building armor, you stop viewing every challenge as punishment. You begin viewing it as preparation. You stop asking why the battle exists. You begin asking what strength it is producing. You stop focusing entirely on the pain. You begin noticing the growth. And that shift in perspective changes how you walk. Through the process. Chosen one, there is another reason God allows cycles. Cycles reveal loyalty. It is easy to trust God when everything is going well. It is easy to praise him when prayers are being answered immediately. It is easy to remain faithful when life feels comfortable. But true faith is revealed when circumstances remain difficult. True faith is revealed when answers are delayed. True faith is revealed when the path forward remains unclear. The cycle reveals whether your faith depends on results or on relationship. And God desires a relationship that survives every season. He wants a faith that remains strong in victory and in struggle. He wants trust that remains steady even when understanding is absent. Because the deeper your trust becomes, the stronger your armor becomes. Eventually, a remarkable moment arrives. The lesson finally takes root. The weakness becomes strength. The fear becomes courage. The confusion becomes wisdom. The pain becomes testimony. And suddenly the cycle ends. Not because time passed, but because transformation occurred. The cycle accomplished its assignment. The armor was forged. The preparation was complete. The chosen one was ready. If you are currently walking through a difficult cycle, do not assume God has abandoned you. Do not assume he has forgotten your prayers. Do not assume your struggles are meaningless. There is purpose in this season. There is growth in this season. There is preparation in this season, even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, even when you do not understand it. God is working. He is shaping. He is refining. He is strengthening. And one day you will look back and realize that the very thing you wanted God to remove was the thing he used to prepare you for your greatest victory. You will understand why the cycle existed. You will understand why J appeared repeatedly. You will understand why the process lasted longer than expected. Ninth, most importantly, you will understand that every challenge contributed to the armor you now wear. So stand firm, chosen one. Do not quit in the middle of the forge. Do not abandon the process before the armor is complete. Do not mistake preparation for punishment. The fire is not destroying you. The fire is strengthening you. The pressure is not crushing you. The pressure is shaping you. The cycle is not your prison. The cycle is your training ground. And when God determines that your armor is ready, no force on earth will be able to stop the destiny He has prepared for you. Your breakthrough will come. Your season will change. Your purpose will unfold. And you will discover that every cycle was preparing you for a level of strength, wisdom, faith, and authority that could only be developed through the process. Hold on. Keep believing. Keep growing. Keep trusting. Because the armor God is forging within you today will protect the destiny He is releasing tomorrow. And when that day arrives, you will not merely survive the battle. You will walk through it as the warrior God always intended you to become. But chosen one, there is something even deeper that most people never understand about these cycles. The cycle is not only forging armor around you. It is revealing the warrior within you. Many people spend their entire lives unaware of the strength God has placed inside them. They only discover it when they are forced to walk through seasons they never would have chosen for themselves. You never know how strong your faith is until your faith is tested. You never know how powerful your spirit is until opposition rises against it. You never know how much God has invested in you until life demands more from you than you thought you could give. That is why some of the greatest revelations come during the hardest seasons. When everything is comfortable, people often rely on their own abilities. When everything is predictable, people often forget their dependence on God. But when the cycle becomes intense, when the battle becomes overwhelming, when every natural solution fails, something extraordinary happens. You begin reaching for heaven. You begin praying differently. You begin seeking God differently. You begin listening differently. And in that place of dependence, God starts revealing dimensions of Himself you never would have discovered otherwise. The cycle becomes a classroom. The battle becomes a teacher. The pressure becomes a messenger. And suddenly you realize that what felt like a setback was actually an invitation into greater intimacy with God. This is why some of your most powerful spiritual breakthroughs were born from seasons of pain. This is why some of your greatest lessons emerged from moments of confusion. This is why some of your strongest prayers came from nights when you felt completely alone. God was not absent during those moments. He was closer than ever. While you were crying, He was strengthening. While you were waiting, He was preparing. While you were struggling, He was building. And every difficult season was adding another layer to your spiritual armor. Chosen one, understand this carefully. The enemy studies patterns. The enemy looks for weaknesses. The enemy searches for unhealed wounds, unresolved fears, and unguarded areas. That is why God allows certain weaknesses to surface repeatedly. He wants them healed before the enemy can exploit them. Imagine going into battle with a crack in your armor. You may not notice it immediately, but eventually the enemy will. And that weakness could become the very place where the attack succeeds. God knows this. That is why He refuses to ignore the weak areas of your character. He refuses to overlook the hidden wounds of your soul. He refuses to allow unresolved issues to follow you into your destiny. Instead, He brings them into the light, sometimes through people, sometimes through situation, sometimes through repeated cycles. And although the process feels uncomfortable, it is actually evidence of God's protection. Because God would rather expose a weakness during preparation than allow it to destroy you during promotion. Many chosen ones become frustrated because they compare their journey to others. They look around and wonder why certain people seem to move forward quickly while they remain in a cycle. But what they fail to realize is that different callings require different preparation. A person assigned to carry a small responsibility requires one level of preparation. A person assigned to carry a kingdom-sized responsibility requires another. God prepares each person according to their assignment. That means your process cannot be compared to someone else's process. Your calling is unique. Your preparation is unique. Your timing is unique. And your armor is being crafted specifically for the battles connected to your destiny. This is why comparison becomes dangerous. Comparison distracts you from your own growth. Comparison blinds you to your own progress. Comparison convinces you that God is doing more for others than He is doing for you. But the truth is that God is working on everyone differently. The fact that your process looks different does not mean it is inferior. It may simply mean your assignment requires greater preparation. Chosen one, there is also a hidden blessing within every cycle. The blessing is discernment. Discernment is the ability to see beyond appearances. It is the ability to recognize truth beneath deception. It is the ability to understand what God is doing even when circumstances appear confusing. And discernment cannot be developed through comfort alone. It develops through experience. It develops through testing. It develops through repeated encounters with situations that force you to seek God's wisdom. Every cycle teaches discernment. Every battle sharpens discernment. Every character linge increases discernment. And when your discernment grows, you become far more difficult to deceive. You begin recognizing traps before you enter them. You begin recognizing manipulation before it controls you. You begin recognizing distractions before they derail your purpose. This is part of the armor God is building, because not every battle is physical. Some battles are spiritual. Some attacks come disguised as opportunities. Some dangers arrive disguised as blessings. Without discernment, a chosen one can easily lose direction. But with discernment, they can walk confidently through seasons that confuse everyone else. That confidence comes from experience. That experience is often produced through cycles. The same lesson appears. The same challenge appears. The same temptation appears. Yet each time you respond with greater wisdom. Each time your understanding deepens. Each time your spiritual senses become stronger, until eventually you see what others cannot see. You understand what others cannot understand. You recognize what others fail to recognize, because the cycles trained you, the cycles taught you, the cycles equipped you. There is another truth many people overlook. God often uses cycles to develop humility. Humility is one of the strongest forms of spiritual armor. Pride creates vulnerability. Humility creates protection. Pride convinces people they no longer need God's guidance. Humility keeps them dependent on His wisdom. And dependence on God is one of the safest places a person can live. That is why God often allows circumstances that remind us of our need for Him. Not to embarrass us, not to punish us, but to keep us connected to the source of our strength. Every cycle becomes a reminder that success comes from God. Wisdom comes from God. Protection comes from God. Victory comes from God. And when that truth becomes firmly established within your heart, your foundation becomes unshakable. Chosen one. Perhaps the greatest mystery of all is that the cycles you hate today may become the testimonies you celebrate tomorrow. One day, someone will face the exact battle you survived. One day, someone will struggle with the exact fear you overcame. One day, someone will feel trapped in the exact cycle you escaped, and your testimony will become their encouragement. Your story will become their hope. Your victory will become their evidence that breakthrough is possible. This is another reason God allows the process, because your preparation is not only about you. Your growth will help others grow. Your healing will help others heal. Your wisdom will help others find direction. And your testimony will help others keep believing. Nothing God does is wasted. Every lesson has purpose. Every struggle has value. Every season contributes something meaningful. Even the seasons that make no sense at the time. That is why you must never judge your story from the middle of the process. The middle always feels confusing. The middle always feels unfinished. The middle rarely reveals the full picture. But God sees the ending from the beginning. He knows exactly where this journey is leading. He knows exactly what He is building. He knows exactly why the cycles exist. And He knows exactly when the process will be complete. Until then, your responsibility is simple. Trust Him. Trust Him when answers are delayed. Trust Him when the path feels uncertain. Trust Him when progress appears invisible. Trust Him when the cycle repeats again. Because every repetition is accomplishing something. Every challenge is strengthening something. Every lesson is building something. Every season is preparing something. And one day the armor will be complete. One day the doors will open. One day the waiting will end. One day the breakthrough will arrive. And when it does, you will understand why God refused to rush the process. You will understand why He allowed the fire. You will understand why He allowed the pressure. You will understand why He allowed the cycles. Because the destiny waiting for you required a stronger version of you, a wiser version of you, a more mature version of you, a more discerning version of you, a more powerful version of you. And that version could only emerge through the forge. So lift your head, chosen one. The cycle is not proof that God has abandoned you. The cycle is proof that God is still working on you. The fire is not proof that you are forgotten. The fire is proof that you are being forged. The pressure is not proof that you are failing. The pressure is proof that you are being strengthened. And when this season finally ends, you will walk forward wearing spiritual armor that was built through experience, tested through adversity, strengthened through faith, and sealed by the hand of God Himself. The warrior you are becoming is far greater than the person you once were, and the destiny ahead you is far greater than the struggle behind you. Keep walking. keep believing, keep standing, because heaven is not finished with you yet. Your armor is almost complete. Your breakthrough is drawing near. And the very cycles that once made you question everything will soon become the evidence that God was preparing you for something extraordinary all along.